Tell me more. I mean, the subject of immigration is such a hot button issue in the state and the country.
Right.
And a lot of people would think, well, Prescott and the Yavapai County is up pretty far from the border, you know, but it sounds like they're making their way up. Do they come up 17? Do they take some of the back roads? How, you know, how are they getting here? And do you have any idea of a percentage of how many you're able to stop?
Well, I can tell you what the numbers we get federally, and I can tell you from the state as well. You know, the borders are not secure. I mean, people are coming across there, and I've talked to Sheriff Devers and Sheriff Babu, and every 3 or 4 months we have Arizona Sheriff's Association meetings, and we talk about these things, and all that. Basically, down along the border, they're coming across in vehicles or on foot. Then they are transported to safe houses, both in Tucson and in the Phoenix area, the larger urban areas where they can get lost in the mass populations. From there, they're coming into Yavapai County through various interstates, either 17, 93, 40, and if it's human smuggling, we'll see vans or RVs with 20 or 30 people in them. And when our deputies stop a van, being that we have the 287G certification, we're able to identify them as illegals. We'll then detain them, send out jail vans, and then we'll ship them to ICE usually within 24, 48 hours. So they're primarily coming into Arizona through vehicles. But what we see is not so much the human smuggling. They're not coming here anymore as they used to work. The economy here is down, the services they were doing is down. They know we're 287G certified. If you look around, you don't see those day labor sites you used to see with 50 or 60 people all around the county. Those have pretty much gone away. But what we are seeing, and the big concern, is the felony crimes that are coming in again through the narcotics. And what we've seen is some assaults and robberies on illegals, by illegals. What jobs they do have and the money they have, they keep on them or in their possessions. And so you have criminal robberies and home invasions taking place by illegals on illegals. They're reluctant to report it, but they're armed heavily, and the narcotics is usually always involved. So the biggest narcotics issue we're seeing, and thank God for MatForce, where it goes out and it educates people from schools to businesses to hospitals and it keeps people on the lookout, but that's what we're seeing coming in. This country's done a great job on stopping manufacturing and selling of chemicals to make methamphetamines. We're not seeing the labs here anymore as we used to. It's all being done in Mexico. The ingredients are readily available. It's huge money. And so we're seeing big quantities of methamphetamines come in. And as you know, meth is so addicting and it involves people so much in crimes. That's the biggest concern I have, is getting into the younger crowds, into the schools. It'll destroy a family that's been together for 30 years. I mean, it's just that bad of stuff, you know, I don't need to tell you that. And that's what we're seeing.
What about the people who say, well, you should just go ahead and legalize it, and then if it's not an illegal issue, then it won't be a problem, you know, it won't be on the black market anymore?
Well, I don't agree with that at all. I think methamphetamine is such a bad drug that you could never legalize, like marijuana was as a medical prescription. Methamphetamines has no real value to it. It's if you're going to use it recreationally, you really can't, because you become so addicted to it, and you have to keep that addiction going. You run bank accounts dry, and now you're getting involved in crime to keep it going. And it's like heroin and things. It's not, you know, something that would lend itself to legalizing. Marijuana, I didn't support the medical marijuana, but it was something that was voted in. So I mean, we're going to handle it as if you got a prescription, as anything else. Mm-hmm. That's how it'll be dealt with. I felt that there was enough prescription drugs out there that could be used, that the folks want marijuana to be used for, but that's just my opinion. But what's interesting about that, Lynn, is, of course, the federal government is enforcing federal law, coming in and saying the state doesn't have the authority to legalize marijuana, so we're arresting the dispensaries and these people and that people, but they won't do it for immigration.
Yeah.
They'll do it for the marijuana, but they won't turn around. And so they're selectively deciding what laws they will enforce and not enforce. And I'm a person who believes in the rules of law and the Constitution, and I'm seeing them pick and choose what they want to do. So that to me is kind of offensive. And the other thing about the immigration, when I go and talk to the communities, and what I see is people who want to see immigration enforced because there is a law on it, feel that the federal government is making us feel like we're un-American or somewhat racist because we want to enforce it. So when I go to these community meetings, people relate that to me as, that's the feeling they get when they want to deal with immigration, is the feds just aren't following up.
But personally, how do you feel about legal immigration?
Well, I am not against immigration at all. I mean, legal immigration is what brought this country together, the cultural mix we have, and I think that's what makes this country so great, is we have people from all over the world come here because of their civil liberties and the rights they have to do as they choose, and the opportunities they have are unlimited from where they come from. But I think what some people feel threatened or get concerned about is a foreign influence coming in and making some kind of cultural dominance, if I'm saying that right. We need to speak English. We need to pay taxes. We need to be good American citizens. And I think people are concerned that, whether legal or illegal, they feel a little concerned that people are going to come in and some foreign influence is going to take over America. But I'm totally for legal immigration. It's the illegal part that is the issue, because as a law enforcement officer, we're supposed to enforce the laws.
Right.
That's what it comes down to.
So how are the schools doing? I mean, you mentioned there, drugs and stuff in the schools.
Right.
Has that abated at all, or do you see even more of it now than maybe 10 years ago?
What's really good is we've seen a drop. And if you think about it, the economy, when it takes the huge downturn that it did, you would think crime and drugs would come up, but it did just the opposite. Everything went down. The major felony arrests went down. The violent arrests went down. Don't get me wrong, we still have them, but not like we did 5, 10 years ago. So I think that's a combination of things, but it actually has gone down.